guys. So I seem to have chosen the noisiest time to start this, but I'm hoping you can hear me over the superbikes. I am about to go down for scrutineering. We've been out this morning for free practice. I'm fairly happy with how it went. Obviously I got a load of laps in. I'd like to have been a little bit higher up. I think I was like P27. But it's just track time on this bike around here, so I just need to work on that in qualifying. So qualifying is slightly weird. It only qualifies you for what position you'll be in the heat race tomorrow. So I was going to say it doesn't matter as much as qualifying elsewhere, but it kind of does, because obviously you end up, it depends how far back in the heat race you end up, and then the heat race does your position. So it's like, it's all a little bit, so as high up as I can get is the better. Put some new brake pads in. I do like them, I think they're better. And yeah, so we're just going to go down for scrutineering now. We set up outside the FHO garage earlier on today, which made it much easier because you can see what's going on. So when they're having a couple of minute break between sessions, you can see when they're going back to starting again. So it's much easier to judge when you're going to be out and keep your tyres warm. And yeah, so we'll probably do that again for qualifying. As long as the superbike races don't clash, that's what we'll do. But Coops did the same because he's riding a 600. So he came straight in the pit lane off the 600 and jumped straight on the F900 and went out. So we were all in the pit lane this time. But yeah, I'll see you all in a bit. I'll update you after qualifying, see how it goes. But yeah, bye guys. Hey guys, editing Kate. I just realised that the clip I thought I'd filmed after qualifying is actually just a photo of me, which is very helpful of me. But yeah, so I just thought I'd come back to you and explain kind of what happened in qualifying. So qualifying ended up being one of those sessions where it was a bit like, is it going to rain? Is it going to stay dry? So we got out. I knew full well that we would have to go out and get in a fast lap, because if anybody got in a dry lap before it rained, that's what would qualify. So we went out with a front. Actually, did we go out with? I think we went out with full slicks in. We did. We warmed them slightly hotter than we normally would, and we went out with full slicks in, with the intention of getting a couple of fast laps in before it rained. That didn't work quite as well as I'd hoped, because I didn't wait long enough to go out of the pit lane after the group in front of me. So I caught them up and I caught traffic. So I caught traffic quite quickly into qualifying. We got 2.5, 3 laps before it rained, and then like everybody cruised back round into the pit lane because it was pretty rainy. A few people did go back out, swapped to wets or swapped to slicks, or kept their slicks and went back out. Most of them were people who just needed to set a time. Anybody who didn't need to set a time basically sat in the pit lane. So there was literally, I thought I'd taken a video of the whole F900 grid all stood in the pit lane, with tyre warmers on, just kind of waiting. And then with like 5 minutes to go, they were like, "Oh, Parc Fermé's open, everybody, if you want to start making your way down." And pretty much everybody started rolling their way down to Parc Fermé. Just because once it got wet, nobody was going any faster. I wouldn't have been able to go faster than the time I'd set on wets. I was pretty confident in that, so there was no point. We weren't aiming. It wasn't wet enough to go out on a set of wets and like try. So instead of ruining the set of the wets for the weekend, we decided, right, that's it, we'll park it, as did most of the grid. Coops got a pretty good fast lap in. He qualified on pole. I think I can't remember where I qualified now. I'll put the grid sheet up. I got an okay lap in. It wasn't brilliant. I think I did a 2 minute something, 2 minute dead point something. And then I think Coops got down into the 49s. I remember now, but I'll put the sheet up so you can see. But yeah, so that's what happened to qualifying. It was just one of them. It's just how the weather hit us. Some classes got worse off, some classes got better off. But what happens is, even if it rains halfway through the session, unless nobody got a good time in, sorry, that's my washing machine. This washing machine frustrates the living daylight out of me, I'll be honest with you. If anyone knows how to turn that chime off on a Samsung washing machine, let me know, because that's the bane of my existence currently. But anyway, so the way they work qualifying is they didn't exclude anybody that wasn't within 10%, just because of the way the weather hit and some people didn't get out. But the times on the dry track still stand. I think it's up to the discretion of whoever's in charge. So they could say, oh, actually, I think we're going to only count the wet times, or we'll rerun that qualifying, but I don't know. I've never been in that situation. Any of these situations I've been in, they've counted up all the lap times, even the dry ones, which is why you have to get out at the start. When you're thinking it's going to be a bit weird, you've got to get out at the start and get in as fast a time as you can. But yeah, I will let you carry on watching the race vlog. Also, I am thinking about a new camera, just because of this issue I keep having with it. Whether it's me, whether it's user error or camera error, I don't know. But it is quite frustrating when I get back here and I have to keep filming all these little clips to go in between, because I'm sure this is not very exciting. I also contacted Eurosport about using their footage, because I've seen that a couple of other bigger YouTube channels use them. But the answer was, I am not a media outlet, so I can't. So I don't know what constitutes a media outlet, whether I'm just more viewers or what, but so that's not possible. But hopefully if I get this camera I'm looking into, it'll be a lot easier to film with, so I should be able to send people out to film. The camera I've got currently is quite hard to use and is not really designed for filming, so it's kind of like a focus on one thing, not moving motorbikes. So yeah, I'm hoping that if I get that, I'll be able to send, I don't know, whoever comes watching out to film. And then I've got some things, because I've got a few clips in this video filmed on a phone that Jack's sister took for me. But that's the exciting bit to you guys, I understand. But we're not allowed to run GoPros, so I'm trying to work around it. If anyone's got any suggestions, really helpful. But yeah, that's my current thought process behind that. So yeah, I will see you all in a bit. Bye. We're all on the grid for the team photo shoot. We're just waiting for Hickey to go for a wee. Well, they're making him not look dirty for the photo, aren't they? Seen his new leathers? Oi, what does the weather look like? Hey guys, I look a little bit wild, I'm just in the back of the truck. We've just come in from the heat race. It was a little bit sketchy conditions wise. Coops went out in the heat race before us, not in the one we were in the end.
One sec, Kate, I'll be out. Oh!
I'm vlogging. I don't know what I was saying now. Oh, I was talking about the track, that's what I was saying.
It's in Cheshire.
It's in Cheshire, yeah. It goes right.
Roughly takes about 1 minute 47, 1 minute 48 a lap.
That's if you're fast. So yeah, Coops was out in the race before me. So he was out in the race before me, because we did the way they did the heat races. He was in heat 1, I was in heat 2. He chose to go out on full slicks. I chose to go front wet via slick, just because I didn't feel confident enough that the front of the slick would turn in right. So the first corner was a dry line. It was tyres width. So on the first lap I did let quite a few people pass me. Somebody crashed as well, so everyone was like, whoa, all over everywhere, trying to avoid that. But yeah, after that I got my head down. I overtook about 3-4 people, one down into Cascades and the other few into Island Bend. But yeah, I'm in the main race without having to go to the last chance qualifier this weekend, which is what we wanted. That's the news we wanted. That's how we wanted it to go. So yeah, it's all good. But yeah, tomorrow, I don't know where we're starting tomorrow yet because they've not finalised the grid yet. They'll do that later on, and then we're going to go and watch Coops doing his Super Sport race, because that's what he's getting ready for now. That's what he's walking past for. He'll be coming to get his kit on soon. But yeah, we'll go and watch that because I don't know if it's really a wild card or not. I think it's the bike he's riding at the Northwest though. So yeah, I will see you all in a little bit. Bye guys. Hey guys, I just thought I would clarify, when I keep saying slick in the video, that's me saying my dry tyres. My class can't actually run slicks. We're running treaded slicks, we're running probably Super Corsa V3s. I keep saying slick, and I'm very well aware that people think of slick, or people know slick as one with no cuts in it. But that's just our slick option. So yeah, I just thought I'd clarify that, just in case anybody was wondering.
Ladies and gentlemen, just put your hands together for Maria Costello before we go over to Kate. Thank you. So Kate, I gave some stats earlier on to everybody. 30 podiums in 30 races. I'm just going to go with 4 wins, 17 seconds, 9 thirds and 10 pole positions. And second in the Thunder, put my teeth in man, Jesus. The Thunder Sport GP Championships. Wow.
Yeah, last year was a pretty good year for us. Like you say, 30 races, 30 podiums. It all came down to the very last race. It was double points at the last round, and it just tipped over the other way at the last race. But yeah, it was exciting.
Now, so what is the big difference then, stepping up onto the BMW 900R?
Well, the main difference is this is a twin, but I find that this handles a lot easier than the old Steely. Its weight is a lot betterly, or more proportionally. Basically, it's got a lower centre of gravity, so so it does what you want a bit more. It's less fighting. So you look at it and you probably look at me and maybe even Coops and think they're quite small compared to that. But they're actually quite easy to ride and doing what you want. Yeah, it's deceiving. They're really fun to ride as well. If anyone gets a chance, I recommend it.
So I was talking to your mechanic earlier on and I said, right, what the differences are with Kate's setup? And he was talking about the softer spring in both the front and the rear. So have you had to change your riding style for that particular bike?
This is what I'm in the process of learning and doing. This is something Coops is very good at with his experience. But yeah, my riding style has to change to ride this to the full potential. And yeah, so I'm basically still learning, but we've done a few different things. Yeah, to basically make me ride it better, be in the springs. But it's just that's because of my weight compared to all the other people in the class.
So I couldn't imagine having 2 better mentors either side of you, and we're going to pass on to one of those mentors now. So ladies and gentlemen, just put your hands together quickly for Kate Walker. Anybody got any more questions? Come on, you must have some questions. Yes, there we go. Who is this to?
This is to Kate. How old were you when you first started racing bikes?
I started racing in 2006, so just before my 6th birthday. My brother raced first, and I basically was just like, I want to go. And my granddad convinced my mum that I could do it and bought me a bike.
That's another thing as well. It's all about, you had an opportunity, someone said, right, let's just do it. I can't really swear, but it's an F word. But you just went on, you had the support of your family, you were chatting so passionately about how they helped you along as well. So hopefully all these people sitting here go, yeah, I can do that. Has anybody any more questions? Stumped them, that's right. You guys have just blown them away. So for me, I suppose, it's an obvious one. Do you have any suspicion, processes that you go through, 5 minutes before, 10 minutes before, do you wear the same socks, the same underpants? nasty one, but you mean, or do you just go superstitions? Right, I'm just going to get that bike and race it as hard as I can. Kate.
I actually do have lucky socks. Excuse me for taking my shoes off. They are superhero socks. I've got Hulk on today. Iron Man is the fastest superhero. And yeah, I wear superhero socks at every round. I didn't yesterday, which is a disappointment to myself. I should have had my superhero socks.
So you let yourself down more than anything
Yeah.
else. That's it. Don't let it happen again.
Do you
Richard.
have socks? Me and Maria have just come to watch Coops' race. You'll be able to hear the tent. Like, look at the rain out there. Coops is like, I guess they must be on the grid. Because the telly's still doing the presentation. But like, look at it coming off the awning. Rather him than me, to be fair. Washing the bike down. Hey guys, so I've just been watching back the race from Oulton Park. As I mentioned earlier in the video, the clip that I thought I'd filmed at the track for this was just a photo of me pulling a funny face again. So I thought I'd just like go through the race now. I've watched it back and I thought I'd just go through the race now and tell you kind of what happened. I've filmed this a couple of times, I will be honest with you. Each time I keep thinking, once I get it to editing, I think I'm being a little bit harsh with myself. It's something that we're working on at work at the moment. We've got what they're calling personal effectiveness, and they're going through like coaching with us and they call them soft ways to improve. And something that the coach that I've got mentions quite a lot is that I'm very hard on myself. I think that's due to the nature of the sport that I'm involved in, but anyway, so I don't want to put a negative spin on the weekend is why I keep refilming this, because like I'm not overly happy with finishing. I was 28th, and it's a little bit higher up than I'd like to be, if I'm honest. Considering what I said at Silverstone about my lap times and where I could be running, my lap times are pretty similar to the people around me in 28th at the moment. So yeah, there are positives to take from the weekend. Obviously, there's also things that I can learn from the weekend. We are going to do our debrief slightly differently when we get to the next round. So basically what we're going to do is me and Luke are going to set up a couple of chairs, my little table and my notebook with some track maps in the truck rather than in the awning, because it's lovely that everybody's coming to see me and talk to me and everybody wants to talk to me. It's crazy, to be honest with you, that people want to come and talk to me, but I need to just get my thoughts written down, get everything out, get everything recorded, without the stress of having to answer back to questions, like without trying to do both. Because when you read back my notes, they're like, you can tell where somebody's interrupted my train of thought. So I think that's going to be an important step. So we're just going to go in the back of the truck, where it's quiet, just get that sorted, and then we can go back to doing what we're doing. Actually, on that note, the craziest thing happened to me the other day. I was in my local Tesco's doing my shop, and I was walking down the car park and somebody started shouting my name, and I turned around because I assumed it was going to be somebody from school or like one of my friends, and I can't remember the girl's name, but it was a girl and a mum who'd come to see me at Oulton, and she was like, "Oh, I didn't realise you lived in this area." But yeah, so she shouted me at Tesco. She recognised me in Tesco's car park, which was crazy. I never thought I would be getting recognised in Tesco's, but yeah, that was pretty cool. But yeah, back onto the... I've got off track now. Back onto the racing. I talk some absolute crap sometimes, but anyway. Yeah, so we're going to do debriefs like that. I'm going to draw on track maps. Then I can kind of maybe even talk through them with Coops, depending on how busy he is. He talks through a lot of it with me. So we're making that improvement. The other improvement we're making ahead of Donington is I have done a slight bit of bike bodywork rearrangement on said test day, but I felt at Oulton Park like I hadn't had enough track time. Like, I could have done better if I had enough track time. I was still in the race, I was still pushing the limits of where I could brake, where I could accelerate, how late, well, where I could brake and how late I could brake are the same thing, but that I was still pushing those limits that, yes, you should be pushing in the race, but I shouldn't be, I should know, like, this is my latest point, end of, whether I've got an overtake or not planned, or if I've got an overtake, this is my latest point. I should know that pretty much dead on, and I think it should be fairly similar to the 600 I was racing last year, but it's just getting my head around it. So yeah, like, I felt like I didn't have enough track time, so we've been to Donington Park, which is the next round testing, got some more track time in. I did fall off at Craner, but we're going to brush past that. We've learnt a lesson from that. That lesson we can take into the World Superbike round and not have to do that at the World Superbike round. But yeah, so I felt by the end of the day, I felt a lot more into the rhythm round Donington. So I feel like when we're going, we'll be starting off on a better foot, which I think is something that I needed. So we're going to try and do for more of the tracks. But yeah, I started the race 24th. I finished the race 28th, so that in itself upsets me a little bit because I went backwards. But on the TSL does like a lap that gives you the race number of everybody who went over the line in what order on every lap. By the end of lap 2, I was 32nd from 24th, so I got pushed back a long way. And then I managed to spend the first few laps battling with people. I managed to get back up a couple of places, and then I'd go back down a couple of places, and then I'd go back up. So it was kind of like an ever-moving group. And then towards the end of the race, I sort of got out of the group a little bit, me and another rider that I was trying to overtake but didn't quite manage to make a pass stick. So towards the end of the race, my fastest laps were all in the later half of the race as I was getting clear. I did go faster in the race than I did in the heat race by a considerable amount. I wasn't quite as fast as I was on the 600 last year, but obviously the 600 last year had very different braking capabilities, had very different power delivery capabilities, and had more horsepower. So yeah, I also was quite high up through the speed traps. which tells me that I have no excuses. So I was quite high up through the speed traps, which means going fast enough down the straights. I also take from that I'm coming out of the corners fast enough, but I know in myself that I'm letting myself down on the brakes. I really am. And yeah, that's something that I'm working on. It's something that I was working on at Donington. I was working on each corner, a couple of laps each corner, work on the next corner for a couple of laps. So it was something that I was trying to go through at Donington for the test. But yeah, so overall, I improved. I went faster. I did manage to overtake more people. I got a better start in the main race than I did in the heat race, because in the heat race I went right back to the back. But yeah, that's the main thing I need to work on. But it's one of those things that I can't practice anywhere but at the track, but in a race scenario. So I just need to keep improving as the year goes on. I've been watching everybody else back racing on the telly because it's very interesting. I don't get to see how other people think, how other people line up their passes. I don't get to see those things on the track, or not from everybody. I only get to see the people I'm racing with. So that's interesting. And watching like Coop's back racing is very interesting. You can see that he's very calm, cool, collected, calculated. He's thinking about everything he's doing. I also at Donington was trying out some things that he told me, because I've been struggling getting the bike to go back through the gears, because it's got like a protection system in it that stops you over revving it, so it won't change back the gears if it doesn't think. So if it thinks its RPM's too high, it won't change back the gears. Which, when you're racing like the 600 I raced last year, you on the brakes, down the gears as fast as you can, and you turn in. Whereas this, we're having to slow that process down a hell of a lot to keep the revs in the right range, or run another gear higher through certain corners to keep the revs in the right range. So yeah, that's something that I'm learning. At Donington, I was trying to also practice the riding style of the bike, because it's very different to the 600. All the power's at the bottom, whereas the 600 I rode last year, all the power was at the top. So yeah, I think that I'm improving each time I ride, and that's what I want to show. But I also don't want to come on YouTube and just say to you, oh yeah, it's all rainbows and unicorns and this and that, because it's not. I do find it difficult, going from last year where I was on the podium literally I was on the podium every race last year. I do find it a little bit difficult doing what I'm doing now, but that feeling of winning last year is something that I want at BSB. The level's moved up. I want to move up that level as well. That's what my aim is. And I know that I'm in the right place to do that. So this class is teaching me everything that I need to move up, to get on that podium at BSB. The irony of this is I promised Joe I was going to have no more camera issues, except that I just set my camera into slow motion mode. So I'm going to repeat what I was saying. So I finished off the video, the last bit before it went into slow-mo, by saying I'm in the best place for it. Now, I don't just mean the championship, I mean the team as well. The platform that FHO are providing us, the support that they're providing us is insane. With Coops, with Maria, with Brooksy, with Hickey, with Faye, with Darren, everybody, the support that they provide is insane. And yeah, that puts me and the girls in the best place for going out and hopefully winning, improving, getting on the podium. I can see that it's a long way off. at the moment, with me running around in 28th. But I'm not going to give up, and I want it bad, so yeah, I'm going to keep trying as hard as I can. I'm in the best place for doing what I want. Can't wait to see how the season unfolds. And yeah, I don't want to be too harsh with myself, but it's in the nature of the sport. You can't help it. You want to win, especially with the feeling of winning last year. Sorry, I don't know why it sounds like Jack is trying to break through the ceiling. You can probably hear that, but whatever. So yeah, the other thing that I also wanted to mention on the end of this video was just about subscribing on YouTube. I know you probably hear every single YouTuber say, please like, comment, share, subscribe. But their message is kind of important. Basically, if you set yourself up a YouTube account, if you don't already have one, and subscribe, it's kind of a free way of you sponsoring me, because in the future I could make money from it to put back in the racing pot, and also the more platform I have, the easier it is to find other sponsors, the better I can spread the word about what I'm doing. So yeah, your subscription is really important to me. I'm getting like 4,500 views according to my YouTube studio at the moment, but I think I've only got about 200 subscribers. I appreciate every single one of you, but if more of those people who were watching that weren't subscribing would subscribe, that would really help me out. So yeah, I'm going to be typical YouTuber and go, please like, comment, share, subscribe. But I will see you all in the next video. It's about Donington Park. I've already started recording it because obviously we've been testing, doing some rearranging of scenery, bodywork, bike. But yeah, I will see you all soon. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for supporting. Yeah, bye guys.